RPG for You and Me presents Neon Heat, an actual play duet podcast using the Savage Worlds system and our custom cyber fantasy setting. It's been a labor of love creating it for the past several years, and we hope you enjoy.
Previously on Neon Heat, the interrogation of Regulator Nema becomes a revealing and deadly affair. Zadal arrives to retrieve Athena and encounters resistance from the Proctor and Delegate. Athena and Zadal share a moment in the elevator while they descend to a meeting with the Oculus. Silas informs Athena that her brain is a time bomb, and they have to unlock a memory that had been sealed away for her protection. There's another presence sharing her mind. She's not alone. Athena experiences her true past and readies herself for what comes next.
Athena, Silas's office has dissipated around you, and you find yourself in total blackness once again. You exist in this space alone, and then rising from what appears to be thousands of feet below you in the blink of an eye is a dark gray steel metal pathway that rushes up to meet your feet. It looks like you're falling, but you know you're not moving, and you don't feel any sense of gravity or movement at all.
Huh.
And then it comes to a sudden halt, and you're standing on it.
Question.
Yes.
Is my vision still purple?
No.
Well, that's a start. She just looks around, trying to figure out what the fuck is going on.
You're standing on this long metal pathway. It's straight. It doesn't curve at all. It stretches towards what appears to be infinity in front of you. As you turn behind you, it stretches far off into the distance. But Silas is behind you.
Oh.
And here I would like to ask Allie/Athena, you know that Silas is looking for information. How would Athena imagine Silas is looking for information?
Like, in her brain?
Yeah, so what I kind of want to do here is all of this is happening, like, it's straight up happening, and Athena understands the intention of what each person or being is trying to do, but views it through her own lens.
Okay.
So Silas is looking for information. What does that look like to Athena?
My first gut instinct is to say that she does so much paperwork that it probably just looks like the records room.
Okay, that's what I thought too.
Yeah, it just makes sense.
Okay, all right. I'm glad we're on the same page with that. So you turn around and the metal road stretches off into infinity. Silas is seated at his desk, looks just like his desk from his office. It takes up most of the path, and surrounding him entirely are just these racks and walls and walls and walls lined with paperwork and folders. It looks like the records room. These bookcases are just scattered around on the path, so they don't go past it, but you can see they occupy a pretty significant chunk of space stretching behind him. He is rummaging through these cabinets like a madman. As he is tearing through these cabinets,
She sees him rummaging and just tossing files, like, wherever the fuck. And I think she says, hey, I might want to remember that later.
he barely so much as glances up at you when he hears your voice and lets out a dismissive laugh, sort of like a, huh, continues about what he's doing, pulling papers out, looking at them, and just tossing them aside. And as he is throwing these papers, they're being caught in a wind. There's no wind, so he's just sort of throwing them, and they billow up and away, up into the blackness. And I think as he throws this most recent paper, your perspective shifts, Athena, and it zooms in on this paper as it flutters up, and you can clearly make out the strange symbols that you've seen before. The same symbols burned into the brains of the dead victims.
Shit.
And the bits of paper So your perspective pulls back, and we see all these fluttering papers up above, and they burst into white fireworks, and these flecks spread out and out and out over the darkness until it's like a blanket of white stars.
I think she takes a second just to look at that.
The white stars twinkle in the darkness all around you, and the white shifts slowly to pink, and then finally more quickly to purple, and a low, piercing whistle begins to build in the distance. And above, the stars begin to vibrate. It's very distracting, obviously. You've never seen the sky vibrate full of stars before, so maybe you can only see Silas's hands occasionally flicking up over one of these cabinets as he tosses more paper into the air, and his voice comes through crystal clear, like he's standing right next to you. Don't worry, Athena, I'm not getting rid of anything you might want later.
You know, fair point.
It's not exactly how it works here anyway.
How would I know?
You wouldn't. This whistling noise is continuing to build. What you're seeing is an abstraction. It's real, but it isn't real. Improvise and adapt, Athena.
I can do that.
Then don't distract me, distract it.
All right.
As you guys finish that exchange, all the purple light overhead begins to spiral down in a funnel, gathering into distinct and growing masses of purple energy in the sky above you. The masses sharpen into loose approximations of eyes that glare down at you. It's purple eyes, and this shrieking whistle intensifies as the eyes narrow, and they focus on you for a long moment before shifting to Silas. What do you do?
Can I cast a bolt up into them with the trapping being a firework? I'd be pretty distracted if that happened.
Go for it.
9.
9 is a success with a raise.
It doesn't cost
Means
any.
it doesn't
Oh,
cost
no,
it.
it costs 1 because it's different trapping.
Wizard, right, gotcha. You want to roll damage?
Oh, yes. 8. She, in her fist, gathers her natural Cori, like that yellow-orange kind of glittery comet, and punches it up into the sky as far as it'll go, and just explodes in a beautiful glittery firework that hits some of the eyes, she hopes.
Yeah, so, and there's only the one pair of eyes. It's like the light from the stars has trickled down to coalesce into these eyes, but you shoot this yellow-orange firework up into the blackness. It erupts into an orange nova, this rippling nimbus that roils outwards, and the eyes follow this firework as it shoots up, and when it explodes, you see them narrow, and the shrieking intensifies for a brief moment, and then as the light begins to settle back, they're focused back now on you directly.
Oh, that's good. That's exactly what she wanted.
And as they focus on you, the purple eyes begin to disintegrate, trickling down to the metal road you find yourself on, these bits of purple energy particles, and they coalesce into a humanoid form that bristles and pulsates with this same energy.
Now, is it between Athena and Silas, or on the other side of Athena?
I think it's on the other side of Athena.
Okay,
so I think
cool.
that it comes down on this straight metal road, and it is furthest away from you, and you are standing between it and Silas.
Okay.
It's like a loose approximation of a humanoid form. There are distinct limbs, but not a distinct hand or foot, with the outline of the form constantly shifting and rippling with this pulsating energy. There are distinct off-tone purple eyes that stand out from the rest of the form.
So it's just standing there?
I think it comes into form and is taking slower steps towards you.
Okay.
And the shrieking has subsided a bit while it comes down, and it's still making noise, but it's like gibberish. It's a series of what sounds like hissing, spitting, whispering, howling, running from one noise to the other, and it sounds farther away. So Silas sounds like he's right next to you no matter what.
Right.
But these noises feel
It's just
more
everywhere.
distance. It's everywhere, but you can't tell how far away it is. So it's just a constant white noise in the background that I think begins to get more intense the closer you are to this presence.
She doesn't care for that. I would like to activate Shape Metal and just try and fuck with the walkway
Okay.
in a way that'll impede it from getting closer and maybe hurt it as well.
Sure. And roll to activate.
9.
Okay, casting shape metal with a raise means you have a strength of D12.
Yes.
I think this is probably just going to be an improvised attack using the metal to do that, so...
Okay. Choose.
Okay, well, you can either Benny it or stick with it.
I mean, that's damage. That's 4 damage.
4 damage, yeah. Okay.
I just kind of want to make it inconvenienced.
Sure.
Her eyes start to glow, and out of the ground, she wrenches this sheer wall in front of herself, and she goes to punch it physically down towards the thing, and as it goes forward with the shockwave of her punch, with all that extra Corey behind it, makes spikes in the front to just make its day a little bit harder.
I think you punch this wall of metal out and it flies forward, and the purple form disappears from your view behind it as it starts to get closer. It smashes through the energy and blasts it into these particles that just immediately zoom around it and coalesce back into this form as it continues walking towards you.
Worrying.
And I think when that happens, you hear Silas's voice again. Sounds like he's standing right next to you. Athena, this is your mind. You have control here. You're not very practiced with it, but focus, think. You can remake the mental scape however you want to. Use it to your advantage.
Okay, so this is not just like a default brain. Got it.
I think that does get a laugh out of him. Buy me time, buy me more time. Here, let me show you. There's a pause, and both you and this energy being are yanked up into the air by an invisible force, and you spiral back and far away from Silas. So you both shoot further down this metal road, and the distance expands in this strange three-dimensional space. So the further you get, the more distorted the view appears to be.
Like a fisheye lens?
Maybe.
Huh.
It's difficult for Athena to correctly process this
Gotcha.
space because she has no familiarity with psionics or working in environments like this. So it's weird.
She's real out of her comfort zone right now, despite being inside herself, I guess.
Well, I mean, that does kind of track, doesn't it?
It does. She doesn't really like to hang out in her brain that much.
You both drift through the air, and the ground rushes up to meet you again, and you find yourself back on solid ground, standing several feet away from this presence. And at this point, I would like to start a dramatic task.
Okay.
So what I'm going to say here is this scene's already happened in the past.
Yeah.
Chronologically.
I mean, she could still goober it up, though.
You could. So what I'll tell you right now is that the outcome of this scene is going to influence the next scene. So
Gotcha.
Your measure of success here is going to influence what we're about to get to. The structure of this is going to be standard dramatic task, where you and Silas are going to be sort of racing against time, trying to do two things, which is rewrite your memory of the conversation and partition this thing off in your brain to buy him and you time.
Gotcha.
The way I'm choosing to interpret that is the first series of rolls from Silas, based on Athena's description of what she imagines him to be doing, is he's gonna have to make research rolls.
Checks
So
out.
this is a little bit different than like a standard psionic.
Right.
I'm saying it's different because he has to work under duress and because of this whole situation that I've concocted.
I love it.
So he's gonna have to get 2 successes on research in order to progress to the next bit, which is gonna be sealing everything off.
Okay.
So 2 successes to start. A complete and total success would be 5 successes in like the second stage of this.
Okay.
So if you reach 5 successes, you're good. That's a complete success. Anything less than that is going to affect the next scene in a worse way.
Let's do it. Where am I? Am I just just in blackness, my feet on some kind of ground?
You're still standing on this metal road, far away from Silas, but instead of being a straight line, it's now like spiraled off in a weird corkscrew pattern.
Gotcha.
Like off a deep end type thing. And based on what Silas just told you, he's probably the one that did this.
Right.
So
well,
what I will
she's
tell...
adequately confused, so she can only figure that the purple thing also confused.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I think without making a notice roll, you can tell that was surprising. And there are shrieks and sounds to go along with it.
she can remake it into whatever she wants.
That's what Silas said.
But he's definitely lied before.
Sure.
You know, Athena's done a lot of fighting in her time, but there's one place she likes to do it the best, and it's the shard.
Gotcha. Okay.
If she thinks about the shard real hard, could she make it?
She can make a smarts roll to try and make that happen.
I'm gonna try and do that. Not good enough.
You gonna spend a penny? Okay.
Yeah, under some duress here. 4.
So basically what I'm thinking here is whenever you try to change the scene to disrupt things, I would like you to tell me how you're changing it and in what way you want that to be disruptive. So like the whole point here is you're trying to keep this thing away from Silas.
Yeah.
So how is changing to the shard helping you?
Well, it's got just a fuck ton of cool stuff she can do with that terrain, and she's very excited too.
Okay.
So she can make walls, she can push it back, she could drop it down a hole, and she's done all of those things before, so she feels prepared for this.
Maybe we get a shot of Athena concentrating really, really hard, just squinting her eyes, maybe even pinching her eyes shut for just a moment and focusing. And then when you reopen them, you find that it is an approximation of the shard. It looks like the shard and it feels like the shard to you because this is Athena's like mind's eye picture of the shard. So it's probably not photo accurate, but all the major things would be there as Athena would think.
Gotcha.
To Athena, it wouldn't look out of place because it's what she thinks it looks like. But if somebody were to hold a photograph up, they'd be like, "This is kind of
It's
fucked
not
up."
quite right.
It's like this is like an off-brand,
Oh shit.
like a Shasta
It's just a shard.
Shasta shard.
It's a mountain, it'll do.
So instead of this being like a turn-by-turn combat because it's a dramatic task, I would like to also treat it as an abstraction.
Okay.
Where each round where you're making a roll to try to displace this presence and prevent its progress will be like a series of things happening, and we can sort of narrate it and talk
Okay.
through and go from there. If that sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Okay. The shard swims into focus. Where are you and where is this purple presence, and what does the arena look like right now?
So the arena is glowing, and I think it would be probably blue, so she can keep her hero in her mind, Magnitude Magnificent,
Nice.
just for inspiration. I think there's a lot of fog and lasers going on. I think she's actually up on one of the pillars that rises out, just trying to look down and see where the thing is. But I think the terrain's mostly gravelly rock right now.
Nice.
That's what I'm thinking. I feel like maybe the giant door is open in the wall, the big metal door.
Sure.
I think it's just open and gaping, and the black of the tunnel is just eking out in weird ways.
I like that. That's pretty cool.
Maybe that's where the fog's coming from.
Maybe. Where is Athena imagined this purple presence to be?
God, hopefully on the ground.
Sure, that's where it is.
Nice.
All right, and where would Silas be? Because Silas exists somewhere in this area.
At one of the box seats.
Oh, in one of the box
Yeah.
seats. Okay, way up high. So yeah, you glance up and you know where he is. Like this is
Because
your-
I made it,
yeah, you made
apparently.
it. So you, I guess, subconsciously put him in one of those secure. Maybe it's Troya's box.
Oh shit, she was just
Yeah,
there.
maybe he's there, and you can glance back and you just see movement off far, or you imagine you see movement.
Fluttering papers.
Sure, yeah, he's still throwing papers around. Okay, and I am going to make Silas's first research roll.
Godspeed.
I think Silas has a D8 in research because he's slightly above average at what he needs to do for his job.
I would assume.
In this particular facet, at least. NPC wildcards have 2 bennies, so I think he will have 2 bennies for this purpose, and you get to decide when he uses them.
Okay.
All right, so first research roll. Blew up an 8 into a 5, so 13.
Hell
So
yeah.
he gets 3 successes on his research on the first turn, which meets the necessary 2 to continue with that.
Excellent.
There's just a triumphant ha.
Then she hears right in her ear and she
yeah,
goes, ah!
You hear right in your ear, and he says, "Oh, sorry about that. I found what I was looking for."
Good. I'm gonna keep doing this thing I'm doing.
While this is happening, you've constructed all of this, and the presence levitates through the air, blasting directly at you. First, it seems slow, and then it picks up speed, and it's blasting directly towards you. It's going to try to attack you. And I know this is a dramatic task, so I'm mixing in some things
No,
here.
it was fine. I'm so excited. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
8. Well, it got a hit with a raise. And Athena, what is your smarts die type?
D6.
It's a D6. Okay, so while we're doing this, your toughness score, which is usually, derived from vigor, is going to be derived from smarts.
Oh man, I'm so much more beefy in my brain.
This is your mental toughness.
Oh, neat.
So it's going to be half of a D6, which is 3 plus 2, so 5. And you get to add your mental resistance onto that. So
Shit,
9.
9?
So 9 is your current
God, I should
mental
have
toughness.
brawls in my brain more often.
Brain brawls.
Brain brawls.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 blah. Lobbing lob bombs.
Got 11 on that damage roll against your 9, so you are shaken.
Okay, that seems fair.
You want to give me a little description of how you tussle with this thing and keep it off you? So it flies up at you, its arms elongate into these longer, thin strands of energy and just lashes one onto you on your leg, and the other goes around your right arm, and you feel this painful, hot energy being blasted through you, almost like it's electrocuting you.
If it feels like electricity, I think she would try to channel it into her bracers, because they're already metal, so just sucking it out of her vital bits in her core,
Sure.
trying to wriggle out of its grasp would be super cool.
Yeah, so I think...
Kicking at it, maybe, if her... did it grab her arms, or did it grab her legs?
It grabbed one arm, one leg.
Gotcha.
And it's several feet away from you still, so you can't, reach it physically.
I was gonna say she would try to kick at it, and I was like, no, she only has one leg. But could she just, float?
She hasn't tried before.
Well, she's gonna try.
Okay, so that'll be that round then. I'm not dealing initiative with this because it's basically everybody gets to do a thing each round.
Yeah.
That's just how I'm treating it. So Athena, it is attacking you right now. You are shaken. So I would like you to roll to unshake, which would be spirit.
5.
Okay, so you unshake and you do get to do something this turn. Silas has his aha moment and starts to do that. Now you feel there's another presence of energy that is just everywhere. So you can feel this, you feel something everywhere. It's a weird feeling. You just know something's there even though you can't see it, and there's nothing physically to look at. And you hear Silas in your head, and he says, "Thankfully that went fast. We need to keep moving.
What do you need from me?
Keep doing what you're doing.
Alrighty.
This is the part where it gets more difficult." And now you can take a turn.
Okay. Can she just imagine them on the ground? So something that Athena had to deal with years ago was there was a Domba stampede that she had to help out with the fallout of and redirect or attempt to. And I think that stuck with her. So I think she's going to imagine that stampeding Domba herd and just try and kick it into it.
Awesome. Okay. That's super cool.
Ooh, okay. What if they all come out of the open tunnel?
It's kind of what I was figuring.
Yeah.
Athena has seen a stampede like this before, so I think
Yeah.
it's easier for her to imagine that. And it's your mindscape, so I don't think it's a super complicated idea. It's just a bunch of Domba
Just a lot
running.
of Dombas.
Yeah, so
She
go
thinks
ahead.
about Dombas all the time anyway.
Sure, so go ahead and make that at a +2.
Plus
I'll give you a
2.
+2 for that, because we have established that Athena loves Domba.
She loves
So I'm willing to believe that
loves
that's
to pet him, loves to eat him.
loves to let things run over things.
Yes.
Loves to make them run over things.
9.
9 is a success with her raise.
I imagine that the pillar that they're on just sucks right back into the floor really, really fast. That stampede just starts rumbling and she can feel it, and maybe it can sense something's going on, but I don't think it expects that.
No, I think there's a I think there's a moment while this thing still has its limbs lashed onto you, and you zip back down to the ground, and there's this thundering of hooves, and then inexplicably this enormous wave of
Do its eyes get bigger like Spider-Man's mask?
yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. And these enormous metal-wooled rams just plow out of the
Big,
darkness
beefy boys.
in a wide sweeping arc. How do you feed this thing to a herd of Domba?
Oh man, she jumps up a little bit and tries to kick it with her free leg in the chest, and then just kind of floats off on her own.
That's pretty cool.
Just floating.
Okay, yeah.
She's having a pretty good time in her brain today.
You watch this happen, you kick it back into the stampede of metal rams, and they smash it to pieces, and these particles just get blasted all around the stadium, and they hang in the air for a moment before slowly starting to coalesce again. But
When she saw it explode, she just fist pumps the air and it's like, yeah! And then she's like, nah,
okay,
never mind.
so what I'm gonna do here is you got a success with a raise on that, so I'm gonna make a roll myself. Oh, wow. Into a 10, which is okay. It begins to materialize faster and faster and faster, much faster than you expected it to, until this form is back and it rematerializes behind you and is beelining towards Silas's box.
Fuck.
It rolled a 10.
That's pretty good.
Which it is good, and I think that counteracts what you did, but does not allow it to make any progress. So
Okay.
It's still definitely a win for you. I will now make Silas's roll. Got a 6, so that's one success. When he gets that success, the scope of the area that you're in shrinks a little bit.
Oh.
So it's sort of like you see the insides pushing down and in, and the arena gets a little bit smaller.
Ooh, that's weird. Okay. I feel like in her brain, her Corey is always going to default to its natural kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because lightning is it's her main trapping, but it's not like what she started with, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's just what
Sure, I gotcha.
Because
Cool.
it's the same color as her eyes.
Yeah,
Just like her mom's was. Maybe still is, she doesn't know.
true. Okay, next turn, Athena, you see this presence flying across the shard towards the box where you know Silas to be. As these Domba, I imagine they're just in this continuous circle.
That's kind of what I was just
going around in a
kicking
giant
up,
circle. Oh yeah, it's like a
like
dust
a little
devil.
whirlwind.
Mhm. What would you like to do?
She wants to try and tether it with Entangle,
Okay.
but it's okay. So this is basically just gonna look like Wonder Woman's whip when it glows.
Deal with it, nerds.
Deal with it. It's so cool. That's what she wants to do.
Okay.
I'm gonna need to Benny that. That's gonna be a 10.
Cast with a raise, which fully binds an opponent, preventing them both from moving and from doing anything else.
Perfect.
Really good.
She just summons this yellow-orange Corey lasso basically from her hand and just gets it around its neck and just starts dragging it back towards her, and it's glowing and it's beautiful and she feels very powerful.
Awesome. Then it gets to go next, and it either has to make a strength or an athletics. So let's see here. I'm gonna have to Benny that for him. Ooh, blowing up. 10. So a success with a raise, which means it is able to break the bonds at the end of the turn. I think that means that it's able to make a little bit of progress moving closer to Silas, but it's barely able to break out of this entangle. So
Okay.
I think that did still buy you some time.
Cool.
And at the end of this turn, Silas gets to make another roll. Holy shit. He blew up the 12 and the 6.
My God.
Into another 12. Into another 12.
Are you shitting me?
Into a 10.
So,
So Silas just got a 46.
oh my God. No wonder he broke into her stupid brain.
Here's the thing. I just, it's so much.
So much.
Obviously, that gets him more successes than he needs.
Pretty
It's a
good.
ridiculous number of successes.
So fucking many.
Completely unnecessary. So I think what happens is we get this shot of Athena lassoing this purple energy being, and you start to pull it back towards you, like you were saying. While you're doing that, it rolls over in midair as it's looking at you, and you see these eyes narrow and glow more, and the purple energy spreads to the lasso and begins to come back like it's a liquid going through a straw,
Ooh.
heading back down towards you before it bursts from the bonds, and it turns to continue flying towards Silas. And you hear this almost, I think it's a noise of, I want to say cocky elation. Like a eureka moment. And you hear that noise, and you get one last clip of Silas talking to you, and he just says, "Everything will be fine, Athena."
The way you said that makes me worried. Keep my nose clean. I'm such a fucking snoop.
I don't even think you have time to get all of that out. I think you start to say all of these things as you watch the darkness start to fold in on the area around you, and it's rushing towards you.
What if it folds up the whole area like origami?
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Maybe Val was really into origami for a while, so that's how her brain processes it in a weird way.
That's cool. I like that. That fits. You look around and you see the edges of your vision start to fold in as the scene in front of you begins to dissipate and disappear as it gets folded smaller and smaller. And the very last shot that we get is a point of view from Athena as you're looking at this purple energy being, and the energy being is looking around in panic as all of this is happening, and then glances back to you, and you note that instead of the purple glowing eyes, it's a pair of brown slitted pupils, and the being readjusts midair and dives towards you with its arms outstretched, and that's when everything folds in and collapses.
Fuck.
And it's blackness again.
So Athena's just nowhere?
Also important to remember that all of this was occurring to past Athena. So you have been playing Athena, but present Athena has also been party to all of this.
Right.
Like,
It's been her watching a movie.
Correct. Yeah, that's what we established
Basically.
in the last episode when we were watching the flashback. So this is still part of that flashback. So present Athena has seen all of this happen already. This is mostly just a recap because all of these memories were sealed away and now they've been unlocked for her. So this is sort of like her previously on catch up. And it's at this point that I think present Athena regains control and has personal awareness. So instead of feeling like you're watching a movie, you're now back to yourself in this blackness.
She wiggles her fingers just to test that out. Seems to be working fine.
Mm-hmm.
Good news.
That is good news. This time, Athena, you threw me a curveball because I did not expect you to take yourself to the shard.
Really?
Yeah, I did not expect that.
No?
Because that's where you're going right now.
Oh,
So,
shit!
the scene fades back in, and this time, Athena, you are standing in the middle of the arena. It's the same arena, the one that you imagined, but it's sharper in focus. This one has things that you would not have remembered being there yourself.
Huh.
Sort of like a little bit more fleshed out.
She notices that and puts a hand on her astral brain hip and is just like, huh.
You find yourself standing here. There is background chatter echoing all around you that wasn't here last time, and there are obscured forms and shapes moving in the hazy gloom of the stands just beyond sight. So you can see the stands, like you see them there, but everything that's happening in the stands, it's like you're looking through an opaque lens. Like there are four distinct forms moving and there's sound, but you can't make anything out. Peripheral purple light streams upward with the crystal fragments poking out of the ground, like what would normally be advertising Shazad. It's all purple light. So you don't have the filter over your eyes, but
it's pretty purple.
there's definitely a purple motif happening here. The great metal and stone doors that seal off the enormous tunnel that leads deeper into the mountain stand in front of you, shut. And then they shudder against a great impact.
Fuck.
And dust falls from the door, drifting in slow clouds to the ground in front of you. And that shuddering noise echoes in your mind, loud. And then you hear Silas's voice. Same as it was last time, speaking as though he's right beside you. And he says, Athena, are you all right?
I'm just catching up.
Ask questions now if you have them. We don't have much time.
What is gonna come out of there?
I don't know.
All right,
The
that was my only question.
The presence that we faced previously, it won't be as easy this time. It's had the opportunity to get its bearings. It's been waiting.
Where are you? What do I need to do? Do I need to protect you? Do I need to just stay alive? What are we doing?
Sort of a misty vision of Silas, like a Force Ghost Silas. Force Ghost Silas appears drifting in the air in front of you. And again, he's hazy, blurry at the edges. I'm here keeping a handle on the situation. We've never done this before. I don't know what to expect. I sealed it away well enough last time, but I don't know how letting it out is going to go. And being here in the first place weakened the barrier.
Just us coming in here?
Yes.
Oh, good. Cool. Okay. She claps her hands together and she's getting ready.
This is it. Athena, use your mind. Control the situation. You have power here. Don't let it take control. That's what it wants.
Well, it's not gonna get the chance.
Force Ghost Zadal appears on your other side.
Question, is he still the same size?
Yeah, he's still the same
Okay.
size. These are basically Athena's projections of them. But yeah, he appears on the ground. He's not floating in the air. He sort of appears and takes a step next to you and looks up to you and says, yeah, hey, we got more time for chatter later, but you got a team backing you up. We don't know what's gonna happen. We gotta either destroy or remove this presence from your mind. It's gotten more powerful. Displacing it might be our best option.
Okay.
And that'll be on me and Silas, but you gotta weaken it first.
Traditionally what I'm best at.
Atta girl.
Mm-hmm.
And then, echoing in your head, you hear Roja's voice.
Huh.
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, this is very strange.
It's like you're on a speakerphone. This is real weird.
I've never owned one of those.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't have.
Athena, I'm here on the outside. I'm going to make sure your body is all right.
I did not know that was an issue.
We don't know. This is all very new. Then you hear Pavi's voice. Yeah, oh, this is weird. I can hear myself talking, thinking. I'm out here too. You can do this, Athena.
People keep telling me that, so I'm just gonna go with that as gospel. Here we go.
Zadal nods to you and says, I got everybody linked up. We're here to help you. This is your brain. You got control. We got limited influence outside of what you allow us to do. So if you need help, you gotta direct us.
Okay.
So what I'll tell you as the player here is that during this encounter, I'm going to allow you to use certain support stuff from your teammates to help you here. Silas and Zadal are the only ones who have psionics, so I think that they're probably going to play the biggest role.
Right.
Roja and Pavi have very minimal effect from the outside, so I'll cover what they can do on my end. I guess loosely, I didn't really codify this in the sense that, like, I don't think it would necessarily be balanced for everybody to have a turn every single turn. Yeah,
An assist action from Athena?
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Gotcha.
Is like
that.
Once a turn, you can tag in one of your friends to help you somehow, and they can act on your turn in whatever way that you want them to.
Okay.
Let's just say, for game purposes, you have your power points back and you have all your bangs
God
back.
bless you.
Because you're gonna need them.
Cool. Here we go.
Athena, there's still this background chatter everywhere, sort of like the excitement of the crowd is building, and the doors bang again, this time heavier. They're bowing inward as you wait.
I think she jerks her chin towards the door. Is that my circlet? They're both metal. That's all I got.
Yeah, I think at this point Silas has dissipated, but Zadal is still standing there next to you, and he shrugs and he says, "Yeah, I think that's a pretty good way of thinking about it."
Okay, I guess I'm just gonna turn it off then.
Either that or it's gonna come through on its own pretty quick. He puts a hand on your arm. You can do this. We're here for you.
I know.
Good.
She just nods at him. Worried eyes, but she is smiling.
You get these assist actions specifically because you did so well in the last scene. So one of the consequences there was if you did not do it in time, it was either going to inflict penalties on you during this fight because of like mental backlash from having all those memories unlocked.
Right.
Or it was going to give bonuses to the enemy or something to that effect. So because you got a complete success, I think that means Silas is still in good order too. So
nice.
So you'll have help. There's one last pound against the door, followed by a voice that doesn't echo in your head the same as everybody else's. You can tell it's coming from behind that door, and it's sort of like it's slipping underneath the cracks, and then it's getting louder and louder as it gets closer to you, like it's slithering into your ears. And it just says, "Knock, knock."
Well, it'd be rude not to open it, wouldn't it? She would like to go invisible and turn it off.
Okay. Go ahead and roll for invisible.
I would love to. Well, it's pretty on brand. Do you know what I rolled?
Did you crit fail?
I crit failed.
Oh boy. Well, you lose those power points, and you do get a level of fatigue.
Oh my god. Well, that sounds right.
Tell me what happens. Why does this happen?
She hears that voice, and she hadn't considered that there would be a voice attached to this thing that she's supposed to be fighting. And I think that really throws her for some reason.
Make me a smarts roll at -8.
That is not enough.
Okay. It surprises you, but you're not sure quite why. Maybe you're concentrating to do this, and the door rattles, and it just jars you out of that as the voice speaks, and something is wrong. Something about this whole situation just feels wrong, and it rattles you a little bit, and you just feel this wash of exhaustion run through you. You've been through so much.
Yeah,
It's been such a long day.
This is on brand and also appropriate to have a level of fatigue right now, I think.
As the door begins to buckle,
I think she takes a step backwards, kind of a stagger step on reflex.
Zadal looks back to you in a very worried fashion, and he reaches out a hand, and he's about to say something, and then you hear that voice again, and it says, "Let me out," in a very final way, and the door bursts off of its hinges.
Oh boy, it's a big door too.
The door bursts open, scattering debris and shards of metal and stone into the air all around you. As this happens, there is a very loud gasp from the phantom crowd around you, just a collectively, and there's a long, tense pause in the aftermath as the dust billows away from the door and this inky darkness sits waiting, and a pair of purple eyes rippling with energy slowly open in the darkness, and they sway back and forth, growing larger and larger as the ground quakes beneath your feet. And the eyes narrow, and a banshee-like shriek makes the air vibrate, and the crowd cheers in anticipation.
I think she just takes a deep breath.
Zadal is completely caught off guard as this happens too, and takes a step on his back foot and spreads out to your far right. And I think this is initiative.
Oh, sounds right to me.
All right, Athena. 4 of diamonds. This thing, 5 of clubs.
Damn it.
There's this hissing shriek as the eyes watch you from just beyond the shroud of this impenetrable darkness, and then the form emerges.
What is it?
It's 40 feet tall.
Oh, good.
A gargantuan insectoid predator that stalks the tunnels deep in the mountain. Long millipede-like body skitters across the ground with surprising grace. The front segment slithers out in a serpentine pattern and rises up almost like on haunches, and it opens enormous mandibles and shrieks down at you. Sputtering saliva drips down from its jaws, eating through the ground and creating uneven footing wherever it goes. These small pockmark potholes in the dirt. This is a Kaida, the apex predator in the area surrounding Caldonix.
It sure is.
And its eyes are purple. Rippling black shadows don't cover the body, but they sort of streak over it, sort of like a black fire.
These things legitimately scare the living shit out of her.
Oh yeah, you need to make a fear check now. So I would say probably a fear at -2.
And that's a spirit, right?
It's spirit at -2.
I'm gonna need a penny that.
Oh no.
Okay.
8. Including -2?
Yes.
Okay. That's a success to raise. Athena, how do you fight off that fear? What allows you to push through it?
I think she tries to remember that her brain just conjured up just a big old thing she's real scared of, but it's still her brain, apparently.
This thing shrieks down at you, and then there's an undulating in the carapace and the chitin, and its jaws widen, and it begins to spew this enormous gout of burning acid at you. And I would like you to make me either an athletics check or an agility check at -2.
Was athletics also at -2?
It's either straight athletics or agility at -2.
Okay, 4.
4 is a success.
Ooh. Sometimes you just gotta scrape on by.
Yeah, so how does Athena dodge this gout of roiling acid flying through the air?
She ducks and rolls closer to it.
Okay,
Like
cool.
under the spray. Because if she goes back, she knows from experience she can get splatter damage, and it hurts like a son of a bitch.
Has she fought a Kaida before?
No, but she's seen people fight Kaidas.
That is true. That is true.
She's seen people do it.
Okay. Then it is going to be Athena's turn. You manage to roll under this huge wave of acid, looking up at this thing that towers over you. I mean, 40 feet tall is nothing to sneeze at.
No, it's not.
Many times larger than even quite large Athena.
And that's just height. That's not even length.
So a couple of rule things really quick. This thing is a huge creature. In Savage Worlds, size difference is broken into categories. Larger creatures can take more wounds before dying.
Okay.
They get smaller creatures have a bonus to hit larger creatures with shooting and fighting rolls, and larger creatures have a penalty to hit smaller creatures because of the size difference. Easier for you to hit it and harder for it to hit you, but it also has very high statistics.
Right.
So, Athena, at the start of your turn... Oh, geez, okay. Oh, that's bad for her. Okay.
For me?
Athena, you feel this sharp prick at the base of your neck. It hurts a little, it's distracting, but you don't feel anything else, and you just hear Roja's voice in your head. Ooh. Whoops.
Roja, what did you do?
Not what I intended to do. It's fine.
I think she just shrugs and starts running. She cannot affect that shit 1%.
Nope. Roja crit failed that.
It was gonna happen eventually.
Second crit fail of the night, folks.
Gotta happen eventually.
It's true. It's a dramatically appropriate time.
It is.
Okay, Athena, it's the start of your turn. I'll also remind you that this is your brainscape, so everything we did in the previous encounter still stands here. So like, if you want to change the equation or try to do something like that, you can attempt to do that. I'll also remind you that you can call on assistance. To simplify it, I'm going to say focus on Zadal. Focus on how Zadal can help you, and I'll handle Silas's stuff behind the scenes.
Okay. Can he hear her? Is it like he's by her shoulder like Silas was too?
Yeah.
Does she have to be loud?
Meta talk again. You guys are all connected with the mind link power.
Gotcha.
So you can all basically communicate telepathically immediately whenever you need to, because he got a raise on his roll.
What she's gonna do herself is start running towards the underbelly. She's gonna say to Zadal, can you make some moths and just distract its whole face? Can you do that for me?
Yeah, I got it. Keep going. The intention behind Zadal doing the moths is that
to distract it.
To distract.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's...
Or, I guess distracted, so it'll have a harder time hitting me.
So I'm going to treat this like confusion. Confusion confounds a target, making them both distracted and vulnerable if they fail a smarts roll. So he got a 5, which is a success. Now this thing needs to make a smarts roll to try to not have that take effect. And that is a 9. So the moths appear and begin fluttering around its head, and the Kaida whips around a few times and
clicks its mandibles
and waves through it, but then looks down and refocuses on you.
Gotcha.
Athena, you are running towards its underbelly to do what?
Can Athena just put her hands on the ground and just grow a crystal real fast out of it to like spear it?
Yes, that's very cool. Oh, I really like that.
Just a row of really jaggedy crystals, and maybe they can explode later.
That's pretty cool. Go ahead and make me a smarts roll.
I need to do that. I rolled a 3, so that's not great.
So when you're trying to affect a large creature with like an attack, you get a plus bonus to that.
Oh.
This is an attack, but it's from your mind, but it's an enormous spike trying to hit an enormous creature, so I feel like it's appropriate to apply this +4 difference to this roll. Okay, so because this is a giant spike trying to impale this giant monster, I'm going to say that +4 bonus does apply here. So that'll be a 7. This thing has a parry of 7, so that does hit.
As Zadal is summoning all these moths, she runs and slides to a stop under it and gets her fingers really deep in the dirt and is just like, oh, crystals, please. And they just shoot up out of the ground in like a spiky line, hopefully stabbing it some.
Okay, damage. Roll me giant pillar impaling it. Didn't get a raise.
Did not.
I'm going to say that's 3d10.
Oh my god, I don't even have that many out. Can I borrow one?
Yeah.
21.
21 damage?
Yes.
Okay, it has a toughness of 20.
Oh, fuck.
But 4 of that is armor, and I feel like this probably counts as armor piercing, so I think that'll be shaken with 1 wound.
Cool.
Yeah, so this giant pillar, this crystal spike erupts from the ground and impales it where?
Not quite the middle of it. I feel like it's like where its sternum would be, but then smaller spikes follow the first one and spear it a little bit down each time, so it's just a real mess.
Gotcha.
Is the blood purple?
It is purple. And it spills out in a spray, and this thing shrieks and shakes its head and snaps its jaws. And that'll be that round.
Next round.
Athena, 2 of hearts. This thing, Jack of diamonds.
I mean, I was going to last anyway.
The Kaida unshakes. So I think at the start of this thing's turn, it reaches down with its mandibles and just snaps the crystal pillar off in the middle and tears it out and drops it with an enormous thud.
Would that make it explode?
Is it supposed to explode?
I mean, they're crystals.
Let's do opposed spirit.
I rolled a 10.
5, so that is a success with a raise.
Yeah.
So I think that means that as it's trying to undo what you've just done, it bites through the pillar. And I think what I'll say is it is not able to supersede your will in this, so the pillar does explode.
With me right there also.
If you're standing right next to it.
I mean, I did make it right there.
Oh, I didn't know what the distance was like. Oh,
No,
like you're right.
Yeah, just
okay.
like right there and then...
Yeah, okay. If you would like to make me another athletics or agility at -2, that would be dynamite.
Yes, I can do this. Ooh, nope. Well, with my fatigue, that's a 1 and a 2.
1 and 2, okay. Well, I rolled a 9 on 4d6, so that's not a lot of damage. I'm going to spend a Benny to re-roll this, because I think that'll be more interesting.
Maybe I'll use a Benny to re-roll mine as well, then.
All right. I agree. 12 damage.
Oh, it's a 3. It's a 3, because I have -1 on account of my fatigue.
All right, you take 12 damage from this exploding crystal.
That's quite a bit of damage, but my toughness is 9.
Yeah, your mental toughness is 9, so that shakes you.
That shakes me.
So you are not even wounded. I think you are blasted backwards.
Yeah, checks out.
I think we get a nice long shot of Athena midair just flying backwards in sort of like a C position, and then she hits the ground and just sprawls in the stupidest possible phrasing, tail over tea kettle.
That's what I was thinking too.
So it is still this thing's turn after it has done that, because it's multi-actioning.
Mm-hmm.
It shrieks through the explosion, but doesn't appear to be too phased by it, and it pulls its body off of the smaller spikes with a series of squelches and scrapes against the carapace as it shifts forward and continues to emerge from the black tunnel. This thing's long.
It's really long.
It's very long. And you are sprawled on the ground, and it looms over you and begins to move down to try to smash you with its pincers.
Yeah.
And that same voice comes back out, very, very smooth and methodical. Won't be that easy.
Athena, she has just landed and she hears that, and I think she just coughs up. I mean, it wouldn't be blood, but she might think it's blood because it's her brain.
Yeah, your mind is making this real, so it looks like whatever Athena would expect it to look like, unless she makes an active effort to make it different.
I don't think she would think too hard. I think she just coughs up some blood and says, "Never is doing something important."
And it attacks.
Bring it on.
Oof, that's bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
So 15 to hit.
That'll do it.
Which is a hit with a raise. Oh, wow. That is an 11
Against
damage.
my toughness?
It's your toughness.
It's 9.
Damn, you are... So that was my GM Benny, so now
Gotcha.
I only have wildcard Bennies, of which there are 2. Should I be a dickus and re-roll this?
Biggest dickus. Re-roll it. Do it.
I think I gotta. So this thing hit with a raise.
Yeah.
So I'm rolling big dice here. I got a 1 on a d12 and a 1 on a d6, and I blew up the 6 into a 2. So this is less damage than I rolled last time.
Mwah.
But I'm going to use my last Benny to re-roll
Yeah.
it, because... Oh yeah. 19 damage.
Well, my toughness, as you know, is 9.
That's 2 wounds.
Yep.
If you would like to try to soak this.
Yeah.
I think here in the Shadow Realm... Your toughness is being derived from your smarts. I think your soak is going to be your spirit,
Okay.
because it's like your mental fortitude.
Well, I got 1 Benny left.
If you're soaking, go for it.
I'm soaking.
Spirit roll plus your wild die.
I'll use this purple one. 5.
5 is a success. So
That's something.
So you take 1 wound. It leans down with these giant mandibles, and the mandibles go very wide and they dig into the dirt of the arena floor, and then they begin to clamp together, just digging these enormous furrows in the ground as they come towards you in the center. And I think we get this, again, a point of view shot of you, Athena, as you're looking up into this enormous insectoid head and these burning purple eyes that are looking back at you. And we get a flick to the right and left as we see these 2 independent vices coming together to try to cut you in half. How do you take 1 wound and live to tell the tale?
I think Athena very quickly turns both bracers into shields, keeping them on the arms, they're already on, and just tries to not get crushed to death between them with her brain strength.
Yeah, and I think you get those shields up just in time as the mandibles smash together and you feel that bone grinding strength bearing down on you, and you're just this little metal ball trying to force it apart, and then something gives and it's almost like you shoot out like a ball from between the 2 mandibles, just being flung to one side.
I think it fucks up her one rotator cuff, because most of that was taken on her shoulders and her upper arms, so...
Yeah, so you spiral away in the dirt and come back up to 1 knee, and your shoulder, it pains you terribly. The Kaida straightens up and looks back down at you, and that voice comes back and says, "Not bad."
Athena shrugs with her 1 remaining shoulder.
And it's Athena time.
Oh, it's Athena time.
Let's make another roll for Roja.
What are my friends doing? This will inform my decisions.
Okay, Roja gets a success. Athena, this time you feel that small pinprick on your neck coming from the side, like near your collarbone.
Okay.
And there's a warmth that spreads up your neck and into the center of your head, and you feel your awareness just spike. Everything gets a little bit clearer. You have this mental acuity that wasn't there a moment ago. You feel sharper, and your smarts die goes up by 1 step temporarily.
It's D8 now?
It's a D8. So Roja has cast Boost Trait with a focus on smarts.
That's real cool.
I think you hear Pavi's voice come through. Hold on, Athena. Benny that. Oh man, she blew both of those up.
Pavi.
Alright, so Pavi got a 17 after.
Hot damn.
And then this time you feel a much worse prick in your arm, like where you'd be getting a shot, and you feel a very similar spread of this strange, cool energy going through your body, and everything seems like it slows down. Like the world around you, everything just... And it's like you have this combination of, you feel like you're able to think faster, and you feel like you're able to move faster.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So Pavi has cast Speed on Athena.
Ooh, nice.
Which doubles your pace, and with a raise, you can also ignore the -2 running penalty. So if you wanted to run, it would be easier, but she cast it with the quickness modifier, which makes it so that your total multi-action penalty each turn is reduced by 2. So you can now effectively multi-action and do 2 things each turn at no penalty.
That's pretty cool.
While this is active.
Nice. I unshook, which is good news, because I'm going to do some stuff now. Athena wants to use her brain power to turn the ceiling of the shard, which does not exist, into the ceiling of Peak in the bubble.
Ooh.
And crack that bitch open.
Oh, that's pretty badass.
Right? That's pretty cool, right? She would like to try that as her 1 action, and then after it's all wet, shoot it with some lightning.
Okay, very cool. So you are wanting to change the battlefield to
slightly yes.
to add a roof that is the glass bubble top of the fancy restaurant Peak, where you were with your grandparents.
I would love that.
And then you want that roof to shatter and flood everything?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, are you trying to make it so that you are not swept away in the same flood? Okay. That's going to make it a little harder.
Probably.
I think it only makes it harder because, Athena's never done anything like this before, so you have to, like, exert mental effort to remember, I'm not going to get swept away. I'm not going to get swept away.
This isn't real.
I think this one is going to be at -2. So go ahead and make me a smarts roll at -2.
Okay.
And if this works, I'll give you a Benny because it's really cool.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I want to be able to.
Works.
This is a hard fight, so I want to find ways to reward you as you go without making it easy.
Here I go. Nope, it does not work.
Okay.
It does not work at all.
Do you have any bennies left?
No.
Damn, okay. Well, that's your first action, so I think...
Could I try it again as my second action?
Yes, as your second action, you can attempt that one more time.
Whew. 5.
Excellent, okay.
Hot damn. I feel like on the surface, she went to an observatory, and the way that it opened up was from the side of the dome to the other side. It just like opened up. You know what I mean? So I think that's how it reveals itself, from like left to right in a sweeping dome.
That's pretty cool.
And the underwater like filtering light just dances on around through all the mist and hopefully lasers. If she's there, there would be lasers.
This is your brain. There
There
can
are
be
lasers.
Sure.
But they're yellow. They're not purple.
Very nice. And then the ceiling shatters.
Oh, it very much so shatters.
So we get this really nice shot of this beautiful glass dome forming overhead. There are yellow lasers shooting around the stadium. The crowd cheers.
They
The
love
phantom
that
voices
shit.
are, hooting and hollering and stomping and all these other things. And the Kaida does a slow look up to see this just as the cracks begin to form. And then I think it looks back down at you and makes like it's about to move. And then the ceiling breaks and immeasurable amounts of water just rain down and pour an enormous waterfall, smashing into it. And how would Athena imagine everything's being swept away, or?
Maybe just it. Like the people in the crowd are being real chill, but I think they are underwater now.
Yeah, so is everything underwater now?
I think so.
You're just breathing underwater. I think
Yeah,
that makes
why
sense.
not?
Sure,
They happen in Pokemon the third movie. Why can't it happen here?
sure. Doesn't land with me.
No,
but
it's one of the better ones.
I remember. What is your intention with this move? What are you trying to do?
I thought maybe all the pounds of water coming down on it would hurt it,
I think that's
potentially,
reasonable. Sure.
but then also make it more difficult for it to move
Okay.
because it's underwater now.
Sure, I think that makes perfect sense.
Kaidas are not traditionally aquatic.
True. For all this water crushing down, I think the initial hit would be the damage, because
Yeah.
then after that it sort of dissipates. So give me, let's say 4d6 on that one.
That's how many I have.
Wonderful. That's fantastic.
Yep. 23.
23 is enough to, so like I mentioned, it has a toughness of 20, and I don't think the water would be armor piercing. So it is shaken, but it is not wounded, unfortunately.
Damn.
It's a really cool idea.
That wasn't.
Next round. Athena. Ace of Spades. The Ace of
I
Spades.
feel like I've gotten that recently as well.
Kaida gets a Queen of Spades. Athena, you've just submerged the entire battlefield in a wash of water. What would you like to do? The Kaida is still disoriented, spinning, sputtering, trying to get its bearings in the water as its little legs flail and flail and flail.
You know, traditionally in water, something that hurts very much is electricity.
That's true.
I think that tracks enough in her brain that it's the first thing she thinks of. And she would like to try and do something with that.
Okay, what's she gonna try and do?
I mean, can she make a lightning storm underwater?
See, why not?
She's seen those now. She'd been in thunderstorms, so it was very scary.
Very scary.
She'd never been in one before. She's like, what the fuck is this bullshit?
Are you using your smarts to conjure a
Yes.
lightning storm?
That-
Okay.
that's what she's doing.
So is that all you're doing? Because you do get 2 actions.
Could she also try and make a vortex that disorients it?
Sure.
Think that'd be neat.
So you're gonna make a lightning storm and a water vortex to
Yeah.
try to disorient it.
Yep, lightning storm underwater. Why not?
Sure. Okay. And are you wanting to issue commands to any of your teammates? Speed is the only power that Pavi has that can help you from where she is, and Roja is basically serving as triage and trying to buff you up. So you could request that Roja use boost trait on you to affect something else. You could request that Roja uses lower trait on the Kaida to try to reduce its ability to do something.
I would like her to cast lower trait on the Kaida to make its toughness lower.
That would be attached to its vigor.
Okay, can she make its vigor lower?
Sure. Yeah, that's a thing.
Hey, Roja,
Yes,
can you make it easier to hurt?
let me see.
I think it's probably Silas who is the one that is like helping bridge this stuff. You feel another prick on your left side this time, and this one doesn't feel good. It's like a nasty, painful
God.
energy that goes away almost right away.
Still hurts though.
How would you visualize this trying to affect the Kaida?
What if it turned its chitin into like a crystalline thing? Easier to shatter,
Ooh, that's really cool.
right?
Okay.
So maybe it glows like a crystal now is how she's visualizing it.
Okay, let me roll for Roja.
Crystal beastie.
Roja rolled a 5 minus 1 because she has a level of fatigue for the
Oh
crit
no.
failure. Is a 4, so that's still a success. So it lowers the Kaida's Vigor die type, which will temporarily lower its toughness to 19.
Whew.
And that's also something like if Athena wants to use an action to try to like reinforce that and lower its toughness or something, I'd let you do something like that too. Because I think that's a cool idea.
So I think when Roja stabs her with a big needle in real life, it makes cracks appear in the Kaida's like chitin as spider webs through it.
Ooh, that's really cool.
But if Athena could use one of her 2 multi-actions she's gonna do this turn to just turn the whole thing into crystal, like more shatterable to make it even weaker.
That's awesome. Yes,
Nice.
I would like that.
Cool. I'll do that before the lightning storm underwater.
Okay. That'll be a smarts from you, and then let's say the amount of toughness that you lower this by, let's say it's equal to what you roll on the smarts die.
Okay.
So you need at least a 4 to succeed, and then whatever your actual roll is how much you'll lower the toughness.
Gotcha.
Fair?
Here I go.
So it'll be at least a 4 if you succeed.
4.
So you rolled a
Yep.
4, that'll lower it by another 4, so it's now down to 15 toughness. You watch these cracks begin to form in the Kaida. What do you do to make them even worse? How does this function?
I think where she stabbed it with the crystal, you know, in Atlantis at the very end when the villain gets stabbed with like the glass shard with the Atlantis magic on it,
Sure.
and he slowly crystallizes in like big chunks and he starts to glow.
I have very little recollection of that, but
Ooh,
it
it's
sounds
real
badass.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, kind of like that, but cooler and more glowy.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
But
Okay.
inside, like from the inside of its mouth, maybe it's glowing like that purple, but the outside is her direct influence, so maybe it's like a little bit more yellow.
Excellent. That's real cool. So that is your first action, and your
Yep.
second one is Lightning Storm.
It wouldn't happen in real life, but why can't it happen here?
Go for it.
Please work.
Please, I want some work.
6.
6 is a success. So a lightning storm underwater, super badass, makes sense to me, and you got that synergy going.
Yeah,
Which is
'cause-
normally a +2, but in a circumstance like this, I think is cooler. So I think this is going to be 3d10 plus 4.
+4, you say?
Yeah. Your lightning storm.
It's enough to hurt it, I think.
All right, it
It's,
is shaken currently.
Yeah, that's 15.
Its toughness is currently 15, so that will wound it once.
Yeah.
Unless you would like to re-roll it and go for something bigger.
Nope, that next turn maybe I can do something else.
A dark cloud forms in the water and begins to swirl around the Kaida, and we just see these flashes of lightning roiling through it. Its body is illuminated with each electrocution, twisting and squirming in the water and shrieking as this happens.
And Athena's just standing the whole time. She's just standing and her fists are balled up, and she still has both of her shields out, I guess. The one's a little more dangly than the other one.
Yeah.
But she is just grit focus right now, which is, you know, not her usual, but she's trying real hard.
So that's 2 wounds on this thing. And it is the Kaida's turn. So it unshakes. Alrighty. But it fails its roll with a 2. You see it twisting in the storm cloud, and the purple lights are shining through, and its head swivels and focuses on you, and the eyes narrow and brighten, and then another bolt strikes it, and it shrieks again. You hear the voice come through, almost through gritted teeth.
You won't win this time.
I think Athena's too focused to respond right now,
Sure.
because she's just trying to zap the shit out of it.
Well, she's succeeding so far.
Whew.
All right, next turn. Athena, 5 of spades. Kaida, 8 of clubs. Kaida's turn. And the Kaida, let's try this again. 4, success. Okay, you're watching the Kaida, and this time it begins to barrel roll in the water, and the storm cloud spirals around it.
Oh no.
And then the smoke is sucked in through the cracks in this crystal. So now it's got this crystalline form, and you can see the rippling energy underneath the crystal. And its body is sort of cracking and shifting a little bit. And from the end of the tail that comes out of the tunnel, it now has this enormous fin. And all of its little legs have these little paddle fins on it now.
Oh no,
And
it's
sort of-
adapted.
Yeah, so it straightens up in the water and swivels to focus at you and jets towards you in the water and is going to try to take a bite at you.
Yeah, checks out.
That is a 6 minus 2 to hit is a 4. I don't think that's going to... and it's minus 4 to hit. Oh, but it gets an extra dice. Blows that up into a 16 minus 6 is a 10 to hit with an attack.
I would love to use this adventure card. It
Sure.
is Last Stand.
Ooh, what's that do?
Well, it says stand together now. Your hero and any adjacent allies gain a +2 parry and toughness. Allies who move into contact after the card is played gain the bonus as well. The effect ends when a joker is dealt.
Okay.
So I'll just bump my toughness up to an 11 if that's cool.
Sure, yeah, go ahead and do that. I think, okay, and what does that make? It's parry and toughness?
Yes.
So what's your parry now? 9.
9 parry.
It rolled a 0 on one of its attacks, and it rolled a 10 on its other one. So one of these two attacks does hit.
Okay.
All right, let's roll the damage. 12 plus 6 is 18, plus 5 is 23 damage. What is your toughness again?
Ooh, it's an 11 now.
It's an 11, so this would be 3 wounds if it damages.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to soak,
soak that.
My soak is now my smarts, right?
It's your spirit.
My spirit. Fuck. Cool. It's better. It was a 9.
It's a 9.
9.
Okay, so that is a success with a raise, which means you soak 2 wounds.
So I'd still take one
So
wound.
you take 1 wound from this. Nice roll.
Whew.
And I think, what did you have your allies do this round?
Nothing, so it's not my turn yet.
It's not your turn yet. Okay. I think thematically, you've just played that last stand card.
Mm-hmm.
The only person who's really been here physically is Zadal. And I think he's sort of been around peripherally just trying to do his thing as all the, like,
Yeah.
being mostly ineffectual while you're fighting this giant monster. But I think when he sees it spiral out and go for you, he goes down to try to help you defend.
Okay.
So being that it's last stand, maybe he goes in there and tries to soak some of the blow with you.
Oh,
Because he's also your love interest too.
but he's gonna die. He's so small.
Well, he does cause complications for you.
Yeah, it's true.
If you would like, you can use one of your buddy actions right now to have Zadal try to soak some of this blow for you.
It's so romantic. I love that
I thought it would be
shit.
appropriate.
I
So
love that.
would
well-
you like to roll for him? He has a D10 spirit.
Oh, God, I feel like you should,
It's on.
because you're my romantic interest.
Oh, why thank you. Zadal has 2 bennies, which you can use. And he rolled a 5, so that is a success. I think that means he can soak the 3rd wound.
Oh my gosh. Whew.
So what does it look like when you and Zadal block this enormous mandible attack? At the first one, it's spiraling towards you, and it snips and it goes over your head, and then it rears back and comes down with this enormous scissor clamp trying to cut you in half yet again. So how do you and Zadal team up to block this?
I know she would try to make her shields as big as possible in front of them.
Maybe Zadal does basically the same thing, but his is just a shield of mental energy that he's
cool.
able to manifest here in this mindscape. So you're there with your metal shield, and then Zadal appears next to you with this huge barrier of rippling dark blue energy, and you each block one of the mandibles as they smash together. Maybe it pushes you guys together so you're back to back.
I like that.
It pushes you guys together, and you feel him bump up against you on your hip. I got you back.
Athena takes a quick second to look down at him over her shoulder and smiles and says, I know you do.
And then it is Athena's turn again.
I unshook.
What does Athena do?
Does it still have all that lightning inside of it?
Oh, yeah.
She would like to try and affect the environment. She wants to punch a hole through the side of the shard to have all the water drain out
Okay.
and suck it towards the hole away from them. And then if it's still a little damp, as the second action, to zap it from the inside with its own lightning it absorbed.
Go ahead and make the rolls.
6.
That's a success.
Whew.
So you punch a hole in the shard, like the cavern wall, I guess?
No, like the crystal shell.
Oh, shit.
So all the water would drain out into the city.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, you smash a hole into it, and the water, like a giant funnel, just begins to suck in that direction. And the Kaida is starting to be pulled in that direction as well. And if you'd like to make your second roll,
I can do that.
Resolve that.
Failed that one. I got no bennies left.
So you punch a hole in the shard.
What if she picks up the giant door like a discus
Ooh.
and just spins with it a couple times and sends it careening into the shell?
That's really cool. I like that.
Shatters it outwards.
I like that a lot. All right, yeah, now all the water is beginning to get sucked in that direction.
Nice.
All right, Athena. Joker.
Damn it, my thing isn't in effect anymore.
Oh, yeah, you're... Yep,
Beans.
Okay. Well, you do get a Benny, though.
Oh, yeah, I do. All my
And
people get bennies too?
9 of diamonds. Yeah, maybe. We'll see how that goes. Say maybe Zadal will, just because he's actually
right there.
participating for you, yeah. Athena, you get to go first. You got that Joker. You get +2 to everything you do.
Okay. You know, if she's still got a tether to the door, I think she wants to use it like she's been using her regular shield. Just fucking people up with it.
Oh my gosh, okay.
So
you're gonna use this giant metal discus to try to just smash it?
Absolutely.
That's amazing. I love that. All right.
That's what she's gonna do with both of her actions.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's try this purple one.
Thematic.
Yeah. A 9.
A 9. A 9 would be a success with a raise. A giant metal discus. Shit. You're using your brain, but it is also metal control. So let's do 5d6 for that one.
Okay. 14.
Oh,
That's a wicked
just
bummer.
shy. You could Benny it. Don't you just want to Benny it though? Don't you want to smash this thing to pieces with your raise on damage?
I do. It's not the first time I've said that to you.
Oh,
That's a cute, fun marriage joke there.
That's a matrimony. That's a match for funny.
That was much fucking better.
See,
oh my God.
I'm your advocate. I'm here to help you out, bro.
I know this, and I love you. Well,
Yeah.
you know how when you go to a restaurant that serves lobster,
Jesus Christ. That's where this is going.
I think it is now, because you got those little pincers, right? That you get to crack open the claws and whatnot with.
Sure.
I think maybe impacting the shard wall broke the door in 2. So she's double-handing, just cracking it together into its center mass for 37 damage.
Holy shit. That's insane. Okay. All right. So
This is the coolest thing Athena's ever done in her life, and this is not lost on her. This is a peak for her.
that's definitely enough to make it hit the wound cap. Athena, you bring these 2 enormous hunks of metal crashing together with just a surge of power and control and such speed and force that the sound of this crystalline shell cracking is like a cannon going off, and it reverberates around the stadium. The crowd roars in a frenzy of approval, bubbles rising in the water as these phantom shapes do so.
No water anymore.
It's being sucked out
it's
as
drained
all this
still?
happened.
Gotcha.
Yes, draining still. You watch the brittle crystalline shell of this Kaida fragment and fracture and splinter off into millions of pieces, dissipating into the water around it, and the purple energy flows outwards, intermingling as it's sucked towards this spout that is being flushed out into the city. And there's a horrible shriek as you do so.
She looks down at Zadal and says, well, I'm glad I'm in a brain right now, or that would be a lot of paperwork tomorrow.
You can have a penny for that. That's good.
Hell yeah.
He laughs beside you and says, you ain't wrong about that.
Ooh.
There's relative quiet. Nothing is happening.
She's suspicious.
We get a shot of Athena looking around suspiciously.
Yeah, squinting from side to side. I think she walks over to the hole to see if it's still out there. or if it's, I don't think her brain has rendered this city.
Sure, yeah. And I think that's what happens, right? Is you go over to look out and it swims into view like it wasn't there a moment ago, but when you look out, it's the city as you would expect it to be. Very similar to the Shard in terms of it's a loose, blurry approximation of where you would expect things to be. It doesn't look out of the ordinary, but you're looking out there and there is no trace of any water or any dust or any purple whatsoever. You're looking through the hole, and then there's this shapeless purple tendril of energy that snakes down from the top of the hole and wraps around your throat and pulls you through the hole.
Oh, shit.
And everything swims again. The image shifts. The city dissipates around you, and you're in this empty black space for only a moment longer. And then the voice rings out, and it says,
Not again.
and then the scene reforms bit by bit. It's like the color of the picture that you're looking at is trickling down from above like dust motes falling into place on a canvas, building the scene around you. It's not familiar at first, and it builds slowly, and bit by bit, it constructs an office. You are standing at the front in a set of double doors, and there's an enormous metal desk. And you look off to the left, and there's an empty doorway leading to a balcony, and there is a purple mass standing between you and the balcony, staring at you. This humanoid form that coalesces as the dust falls into place, and then it's just you in this form standing in this office. And the purple mass stares back at you, and once again, the purple eyes have given way to these brown cat-slitted pupils, and the form is beginning to refine into a humanoid female shape. And you realize where you are now.
Oh, boy.
Strickland's office.
Strickland's office.
And we're going to continue with initiative now.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Athena, 5 of diamonds, purple presents, 6 of clubs.
What are you gonna do?
At the start of this turn, you notice that the outline is becoming more defined as this figure coalesces into a female form. The purple begins to subside into almost an ochre skin tone, and the purple forms into a red satin cloth that ripples into a dress across the form's body and shakes out like a cape behind it.
Is it fucking Benicia?
It's Benicia.
Oh my god, what? What the fuck? How is that Benicia? Oh no!
And then she is standing in front of you, this time not holding a clipboard, just standing in front of you.
Athena is pretty taken aback because she's pretty sure she already killed this bitch.
Benicia stands in front of you, and she takes a couple of slow steps forward, and then her brown irises glow purple and ripple outwards into this mask of purple and black rippling energy that covers the top half of her face. She reaches a hand behind her back and produces a small hilt, presses a button on it, and it extends outward into a rippling column of this roiling red energy, and it looks like the blade that Strickland had produced when you fought him.
This makes sense. Athena's thinking she might still be in her own brain, but she's not sure.
Benicia stands there, and she raises the blade in front of her and levels it at you and says, "Not this time."
So no hard feelings about killing you already?
There is a tension in her jaw, and she bares her teeth at you, just shrieks this banshee fury in response. And when she does that, the purple energy just ripples across her body, and these same veiny tendrils that reach up her arm. The shriek makes the room vibrate, and the top of the office blasts apart. The roof comes off and drifts upwards into this black abyss.
Ooh.
These shards trickling upwards. Everything else is just blackness with these white speckled stars above. And she lunges at you with the saber, and she's gonna try to kill you.
Yeah, that's fair.
Benicia closes and engages. Let's see here. And she is going to try to swipe at you with this energy blade. That's a 1 and a 2.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't have any bennies. She already spent her bennies.
Well, what are you gonna
That's how it would
do?
be. As she lunges at you and takes a very wide swipe with this blade in an almost exaggerated motion, she's moving slower than you would expect.
Okay.
And she takes this wide swipe that misses you by a clear 4 inches.
Gotcha.
And Athena, it is your turn now. What I will tell you is that you no longer feel the effects of the boost trait or the speed power.
Okay.
And if you try to reach out to any of your allies, you get no response.
Does she still feel like she can affect the world?
She can certainly try.
Well, I think she's gonna try. Can she try to turn off Benicia's sword?
Sure.
I just want to attempt to blink it out of existence while also gathering up one shield as a free action.
Sure, yeah, okay. This is going to be a contested spirit roll
Okay.
to determine who can exert their influence over this scene.
Gotcha.
Okay, so whenever you or she wants to try to change something, either of you can try to do that as a free action to change something about the scene, but it's a contested roll.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll your spirit.
7. Oh, nope, 5, because I'm -2.
Ooh, she blew up an 8 into a 4, so 12, 10.
That I don't do it then.
You try to just blink her saber out of existence, and you feel like there's a moment where you can see the image flickering, and then her hand tightens on it, and she bares her teeth at you and says, "Not again."
Won't have to be again if you just tell me what the fuck's going on. As she hunkers behind her big old shield.
Athena, 6 of hearts. Benicia, 3 of diamonds.
Good.
Athena, what would you like to do? So you tell her, basically to tell you what the fuck is going on.
You killed me.
You were gonna kill me too. So, is that a wash? As she tries to shield bash the sword out of her hand.
Interesting decision. So this is your first called shot.
Oh.
So a called shot to a hand for the purpose of disarming, you make that at a -4 penalty. So it's a fighting roll at -4.
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. She makes a thrust forward with her shield to try and disarm her, and she feels it just whiff entirely. She says, "Honestly, I don't want to do it a second time."
You rebuff her back with your shield a little bit, and she hisses, and every time she makes a hiss or a shriek or something, the room vibrates. Everything around you vibrates, and you can feel it in your skull.
And yet I was trapped here, and you're here to kill me again. Let me out.
She's gonna try to come at you again.
Yeah.
She's gonna multi-action. So the first thing she's gonna do, Athena, I would like you to make me a smarts roll.
Is my
No,
not a D8?
it's back to normal now.
Gotcha.
Now Athena knows what it's like to be above average intelligence.
Man, she crave it.
Oof. Oof.
Oh god. I got a 5.
So she got a 15.
Oh Jesus.
That was a trick. That was a feint. So she was that was the first part of her multi-action.
Okay.
So let me do the second one here. Oof. 11. Okay. So the first one was a feint to make you vulnerable, basically, which she succeeded on. So that means that you are vulnerable and shaken. So she gets a +2 to this next thing. What is your parry?
8.
8. Okay. That's a hit with a raise. And she deals, oh man, only 8 damage, and I don't have any bennies left.
Whew.
And what's your toughness is still 9, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what happens here is Benicia twirls this saber in her hand, and there's a small hum of Kori energy. She sort of waves it in front of you to distract you with the light, and then flicks it off to your left side to make you move the shield, and then brings it around in this sweeping motion to try to cut underneath the shield and graze your thigh. So it's like a very elaborate twirl flourish.
Right.
And it basically works. Like, she gets through your defense, but when she rakes it across your thigh, it just grinds against your armor and isn't able to make it through.
Whew.
So it's
Good.
You can feel it pressing against your mind, and it just scrapes against you. And she hisses in frustration again, which makes the room vibrate as she sweeps away from you with this flicking flourish of her sword and stalks around to the other side of the desk to place it between you.
Next round.
5 of clubs for Athena, 10 of clubs for Benicia.
Oh god.
Let's see what she does. She's huffing as she walks around to the other side of the desk. You can see her shoulders rising and falling with this pent-up energy. The purple light flares up her right wrist, and she grabs the lip of the desk and looks like she's trying to wrench it up and throw it towards you, but she just strains against it and then lets out this and collapses forward onto it on one elbow for just a moment and takes a breath before straightening back up and baring her teeth at you again.
Athena does not want to combat this round. Athena has an idea.
It's still your turn, so if there's something you want to do, you can. Or if you want to, like, hold an action, you can do that too.
I want to just defend. That's what I mainly want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Athena wants to talk.
Mm-hmm.
She takes one tentative step closer to the desk and just looks at this tired, slightly broken woman that she killed once already. She does not want to have to do that again. For what it's worth, I didn't trap you in here on purpose. And I'd like to get you out of here too. Maybe we can... I have an idea if you want to hear it.
Make me a persuade at, say, +2. Because I think what you're saying appeals to her. Like, she wants to get out of here. She doesn't want to die. You put the hurt on her pretty bad. Like, this could have gone either way.
Yeah.
But Athena did come out on top, and Benicia is not in good shape right now.
Well, Athena's not in great shape either, but... +2, you said?
+2.
Oh, 4.
With that success, and with the fact that Benicia just failed her previous roll to try to harm you, and nothing she's done in this scene has affected you, she doesn't sheathe the sword. She keeps that illuminated and stays on the far side of the desk, but maybe she takes a step back and leans heavily against the wall and says,
Why now?
What do you mean, why now?
You've kept me here for... I don't even know how long. Why now? Why come to kill me and then let me out?
Because I didn't know you were here. And I only just found out, and then you kind of started attacking me. So, there are 2 ways to get you out of my brain. And one of them is to kill you. But the other one is... Oh, shit, what did they say? To displace you? I don't know how you're here, but gotta be something with Corey, right? That's everything these days.
I think she rolls her eyes, her still purple glowing eyes, but very clearly just rolls them when you say that.
God, I'm sorry you've been trapped in such a dum-dum's brain for 3 weeks. But...
3 weeks?
Yeah.
I think that really takes the wind out of her sails, and she just slides down the wall, lets the sword clatter from her hand.
How long have you been here? For you?
I think she leans forward and puts her head in her hands, and maybe there's a moment where you can't tell if she's laughing or crying, and then she leans back and says,
Eternities, who can say? I don't know.
I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were here. And the instant I did know, someone else locked you away. So my body wouldn't destroy itself or something. So I've got an idea, and I do not know if this will work, but it's a damn sight better than dying for you, I think. How much do you know about Caldonics? It's where you are right now, in me, physically. Which you might know that, you might not. I don't know.
I don't know anything that's been going on.
Okay.
I've been trapped here in this...
And she looks around and shrugs.
Wherever this hellscape is. A never-ending line of metal and blackness.
I've been told I kind of have a one-track mind. Sorry, it wasn't full of more interesting things for you.
I don't think she really has a response for that.
Well, I grew up in Caldonics, and...
It's a city underground, yes I know.
Do you know about the Arrow, though?
Ugh, those the robots?
But they're not, because they're people. And their souls are derived from Corey, so what if we just put you, your residual essence of whatever you are in here into a new body. It's not going to be the same one, but it's a shot.
Are you trying to get anything out of her from this? Or are you just like extending an olive branch?
Olive branch.
Olive branch, okay.
Because apparently she's been trapped in Athena's brain for an eternity. So this is really the least she can do after also killing her.
Yeah.
Granted, she probably wasn't a great person in life, but maybe if she gets another chance.
You need to make a persuasion at... I think this is going to be at a -2 because I don't know that she believes that you can make this happen. I both think that she doubts that that would work in the first place and that you would be willing to do that for her.
That's fair.
Although it does appeal to her, so I'm going to say that net -2.
9.
That's a success with raise. So she's certainly receptive to the idea. I think she leans back until and all the while, this room is still, the bits are just floating around in zero gravity, slowly drifting upwards into this black abyss. There is smoke coming up from where the stairs would have been. Yeah, I think she leans back and her head makes a small thud against the wall. She has a very slim stature, in this flowing red satin dress. She has this short-clipped brown hairstyle and light freckles on her face and just this ever-present bored expression in the very brief time that you interacted with her.
Yeah.
And she says, "Why care now? You've killed me once. Why offer me a body?"
Because because I killed you in the first place. And I never want to do it. But you've also been trapped inside my brain for what sounds like lifetimes. So if there's something I can do to give you a second chance to be not inside my brain and simultaneously not dead, I don't know. Maybe it's not a smart call. But I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I don't want to die. Not again. It was quite painful and traumatic, I can assure you.
Yeah. You know, I've never died, but I've come close a number of times, so I can commiserate somewhat.
Fine.
I think this scene begins to continue dissolving until the room flows upwards and it's you and Benicia standing there in the darkness, and then her
Can
form.
they walk towards a hallway?
Sure.
They're just kind of walking down towards a light, but it's not like a tunnel, it's just approaching something that's not there.
Sure.
As they're walking, Athena would look over at her, and she's probably still limping a bit because she got pretty fucked up in that last fight.
Benicia is too, though.
Yeah. 2 broken bitches.
Oh yeah, you guys are beat the fuck up, and yeah.
So you got a patron, Olivier? Is that got all that purple on you?
I think you say that. Her stride slows for a moment before she catches herself and keeps walking, and she says,
"Patron? What are you talking about?"
You had all that purple.
Yes, I don't really know. I sort of figured it was part of the dying thing. Sounds like you did your homework, though. You bothered learning my name.
Huh?
You said Olivier.
Oh my god. Athena takes a second and just stops and looks up at the sky. The non-existent sky.
Benicia realizes you're not walking, and she stops and looks back and says, "What?"
Your last name is Olivier.
Yes, why?
No reason. It's just, oh man, what a tangled little web.
While all this is happening, the rippling purple energy and the black shadows have sort of died away, and her eyes have gone back to their natural brown shade with the... She's a Vel, so she
Yeah.
has the cat slip pupils. And she just looks at you and listens to you talking about a web and just shrugs and turns and keeps walking and says,
Whatever.
So this hallway is just
I guess it's as long as Athena wants to make it, right?
It's absolutely as long as Athena wants to make it, yes.
Cool.
So that's on you.
Do you know how you got sucked in here? Because I mean, you tried to break into my brain. So did you get in and I killed you and then you just got siphoned in?
The last thing I remember, I was using psionics and there was a barrier. But I thought I broke through it and you killed me, or stabbed me, or something. And then I was here, and that's where I've been.
This is heavy on Athena's soul right now.
I'm sorry. Is this upsetting to you as a player? Okay.
No, this is really good and interesting.
All right.
Because Athena's gonna make good for once in her life.
Just the one time.
Just
That's it. And then we're
once
done.
Only.
This
Murder hobo
this
forever.
is me. And that's it. And I'm free and clear.
What were you and Strickland doing?
There's a long pause before she responds, and she doesn't look back to you.
Strickland was a politician and a smuggler, and a drug lord, I suppose you could say. And I was an administrator. On loan.
From AlaraCorp?
She does glance back at that and nods.
I found a paper in Strickland's office before I had to run away. And what do you know about Ali Sahir? She is just making this tunnel stretch as far as it'll go, just trying to get any drops of info before they get back. Because all I know is, in my city, people are dying because of it. And I need to figure out how all these puzzle pieces connect, or the city's gonna eat itself. So that's my job.
I don't know. It was a word, a name. It came up. I saw Strickland had it written down on a paper with strange markings.
Do you know how he got it?
The name or the papers?
Either.
I don't know. They were just in his office. Maybe from one of his contacts?
Was it Krell?
Could have been Krell, sure.
Do you know anything else about that guy? Because I've been low-key trying to find him for a couple weeks now.
Krell is... I know he handles outgoing shipments. He's a facilitator. I suppose I can relate to that in some ways. But he gets the product from the city to the surface. I don't know how exactly. Tunnels, I think.
That would make sense to me.
I don't know who he is. He's an asshole, but I don't know who he is.
Do you know who Harlan Troy is?
I know the name. I think he works for AlaraCorp too.
He does.
I don't know quite how he's wrapped up.
Guess I'll find out soon. I think she stops and puts a hand on Venetia shoulder. For what it's worth, I'm sorry, and I'm gonna try and make this right.
When you put the hand on her shoulder, there's definitely an instinctual reaction to it, but I think she's just too tired to really do anything about it, and she just accepts whatever contact you put there, and she says,
I just would love to get out of here.
I think Athena actually does go to hug her, because this is so fucked up, and she does not know what to do.
if you hug her...
Like, she prickly, obviously, but
Yeah.
also very beaten up.
Yeah, if Athena goes and hugs her, I don't know that there's... I don't think she, like, hugs you back.
No, she didn't expect it.
But I think maybe she does drop her head and maybe let her forehead fall onto Athena's shoulder, and then there's a couple of silent quivers, shakes her head, and pushes away to begin walking more.
I'm gonna fix this.
If you say so. I don't even know if this is real.
I think it is. Therefore, I guess it is. And I think that doorway comes closer a lot faster now.
The time catches back up. You find that you're standing... What would Athena imagine? Where would she think the door goes? Where would she take them?
Escarglow.
Oh.
When she thinks about home, that's where she thinks of.
You emerge through that door and you find that you're already pushing open the door to Escarglow. And there's the small jingle of the bell that's familiar. This is a place that is crystal clear.
She knows it by heart.
Knows it by heart. There's no distortion in the air. Everything looks like it should. It's empty. It's dimly lit. It's quiet. It's comfortable. And Benicia steps in after you and looks around and says, "Where are we now?"
Home? I'm not sure how to get out of here yet.
You say that, and she turns to you, and she's hugging herself a little bit. Her hands are at her elbows. Maybe? And then you hear Silas's voice boom in your ear, and he says, "There!" And
Don't!
Benicia's eyes flick open, and the purple overtakes them. She screams and clutches her head and collapses to her knees.
Athena shouts, "Stop it!"
Make me a smarts roll, and you can add your +4 to this.
7.
Silas gets an 8. As you shout, you look down at Benicia's form, and she just, again, that banshee-like shriek, and you watch her body begin to dissolve into mist.
Silas, stop!
You just get sort of an absent-minded murmur, and he says, "Just a moment."
No!
You try to push him back, but he doubles down. You feel like you're gaining ground, and you almost force him back, but he just barely muscles through, and her essence, right before it dissipates, she looks up at you, and her eyes are now that, those purple shadows, and she says, "Not like this."
Oh, God.
And then just Zadal's form materializes across the room from you. I think he walks out of the employee back room area, and his hands are in his trench coat pocket, and he says, "Oh man, you had us worried there for a while. We couldn't
Where
find you."
is she?
What?
Where'd she go?
Silas, you got her? You hear Silas's voice come through, and he says, "Yes, she's been displaced into the crystal. We can finally, we
God.
can leave."
Oh, fuck.
And Zadal walks over and puts a hand on your arm. He says, "Hey, easy, you all right? We did it, Athena, you did it."
I killed her. Before.
What?
I killed her while she was trying to get into my brain. And my circlet trapped her in my brain. So she's been in here for fucking lifetimes, just in my empty, vacant fucking brain.
Zadal is watching Athena sort of rave about this, and he looks very concerned, and he says, "Oh, it's okay. It's gonna be fine. Let's get out of here. Let's get back to the real world."
But I worse than killed her. She's just been trapped here by herself, and she's just been trying to get out.
It's gonna be all right. Silas, and he looks up and shouts into the emptiness of the room. He sort of shakes you a little bit. Athena, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be fine. Let's just deep breath. We're gonna be fine. Just hold on.
God, I'm not even breathing in here.
There's one more shot of the room sort of narrowing down at the edges, the blackness swallowing up the edges of your vision as they narrow on Zadal. As the room swims in blackness around you, the last thing you see are Zadal's dark blue eyes, full of concern. And then you wake up. Your eyes snap open. You are lying on your back in the same medical examination room as when you went under. Your body feels heavy, not painful, just heavy and not as responsive as it normally would be. When you open your eyes, Zadal is looking down at you from the left. Pavi is looking down at you from the right. As soon as you're awake, Pavi puts a hand on your forehead and starts running fingers through your hair. She says, Hey, you did it."
It's Benicia.
"What?
She's in my brain.
Who's Benicia?"
From Strickland's office, in the dress, the red dress.
"Oh, that tart who got in my head."
She's been living in mine.
"Oh, well, sounds like she got her comeuppance."
I think she got more than that.
Pavi sees the expression on your face and sort of the tone that you're taking, and her brows furrow in confusion, but she nods and they soften, and she says, "Sure, yeah. It'll be all right, Athena."
Where is she?
And she grits her teeth and looks over at Zadal and arches an eyebrow.
Athena, with great effort, rolls her head to the other side.
Whatever we pulled out of there's in the crystal, in the husk.
She'd look around for it.
Yeah, you can sit up. It's still sitting in that little brazier, the pedestal. It's this large, it was a depleted Cori crystal husk, about the size of a football, and inside of it now is this roiling purple energy that pulsates and flickers, almost like a heartbeat.
She just musters one finger raised and points to it. That's Benicia Olivier.
Silas and Roja are both standing over the crystal. Silas has fingers outstretched. He's not touching it, but they're just hovering, and Roja is stroking her chin as she looks pondering. Yeah. I think you say the name Olivier, and all heads turn first to Athena and then rotate back to the crystal with the energy. Yeah, I think this it all just says, Maybe it's Roja who says, Benicia Olivier.
Didn't know she was an Olivier until about 5 brain minutes ago. How long have I been out?
Roja looks around, and maybe there's a digital clock somewhere, and she says, not terribly long. 30 minutes less.
Oh, good. Just a power nap then.
Do you feel rested?
No. I feel itchy. Why am I itchy? She looks down her arm, and it's just in hives with an injection point. Just nods.
Oh, it'll be all right. Roja's here. She'll make sure it doesn't get bad.
It's so itchy, though.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think Roja does walk around now, and she extracts another needle from under her tongue and says, I'm sorry about, at any rate. And she...
Athena, in character, would not really know what she's apologizing for, because it was all kind of a blur.
Sure. She says, yes. And then just sticks her with this other little... They're more like acupuncture
That's what I
type
figured.
things. But she puts this one in, and it's a warmth that spreads and relaxes. You do heal your wounds, which were not physical, they were mental.
Just mental wounds.
So she uses the relief power on you. Silas is still looking at this crystal, and he says, fascinating. This is what was trapped in your brain.
She's where the purple was coming from, but I don't think she was aware of it in her, maybe? I don't know. But the purple checks out, because, man, fuck. I think I might have goobered up, you guys.
God.
I promised her I would try to find her a new place to live that wasn't in my brain.
Well, Athena, I think, mission accomplished. She has a wonderful new home and this crystal.
I do not think that is what she had in mind or what I had envisioned. Can we put her in an arrow-esque form? I think she looks over to Zadal. She is pure Cori. Apparently.
Everyone in the room looks at you and is just sort of like,
I don't know what to tell you guys.
with the exception of Zadal, who does not say anything at first. And then everybody looks to Zadal.
Is he thinking? Or is he offended?
I think he says, that is, way above my pay grade.
I figured it's at least something to look into, because I can't...
That's probably something we should, talk about. Maybe.
I just don't... You know, you guys, I've killed a lot of people. I gotta make one of them fixed.
Pavi puts her hand on your bicep and squeezes and keeps running a hand through your hair as well. Silas turns to you with a confused expression. Athena, this, thing was trying to kill me and possibly you? And now you feel bad about it and you want to give it a new body?
I want to give her a new body because she's a person. She was a person and I killed her and she was in me. I think that's the least I can do for trapping her, and we trapped her and just she was alone and scared forever.
Silas
purses his lips and turns back to the crystal and says, "Most of us are scared and alone, Athena. That doesn't excuse behaviors or get anyone a free pass. She will serve her purpose.
What purpose is that?
Information, intelligence, and there's much that we need to learn. She is connected to those who have been trying to kill me, so I'm sure you understand my
Oh, that's
interest."
probably Suzette Olivier, I found out in the interrogation. Didn't get to talk about that before I went under, because that kind of all happened real fast. Regulator Nima was a turncoat, and she has some kind of patron who gives her extra power to play around with. And Suzette Olivier is on that ladder below the patron, pretending to be the patron. If that person came after you had purple eyes, so did Nima. She's dead now. Olivier's not, but her daughter's in that crystal. Maybe her niece. I didn't ask.
Well, that is a fine catch. Pavi says, I mean, she was in Athena's head. I think that gives Athena the right to decide. And
Like Athena.
like, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so that's a good point. But also grabs her hand a little bit. Not the one in her hair, but...
Sure. She gives you a nod of solidarity. And Roja says, there is logic in that line of thinking, but we do need what she has. And if she was connected to all of this going on, we need to find out what she knows. It doesn't matter what she has been through if she can prevent further lives from being lost.
Zadal says, I think I'm strangely close to this. Sort of given the circumstance, I think he does pause to consider his words before continuing. There's a lot about this situation that I don't think any of you has the same grasp on that I do. I think we do need what she got, what information she knows to get a little further down the line. But I think everyone deserves a second chance and a shot at being more than what they were.
Athena takes a long second to look at Zadal while he's talking.
He is not looking at you as he says all of this and does not look to you after finishing. If he suspects that you would be looking at him, he will turn away so that you can't see his expression.
Oh, jeez. She really goofed something up.
Silas, his attention's still completely on the crystal, at this point makes something between a sigh and a noise of exasperation and says,
Need I remind every one of you that this woman is potentially a terrorist set to undermine our city? What right does she have that others do not?
I don't know if she has a right, but she has a chance.
What about any of you? All the laws, all the regulations you've broken in the furthering of your own agendas, do those all deserve free passes as well? Where's the line drawn?
Oh,
Where's the law? Where's the order?
Silas, I don't know. I don't. But I think you need a team of people you trust to help you with all your stuff, like you said. So you're kind of wrapped up in this law breaking too.
You say that. He smiles to himself and nods a little bit and looks back to you and smiles. I think the expression he gives you is almost like a condescending pity smile. Maybe you don't know why, but it's a bit of a hollow smile.
Yes, we're all so dirty, aren't we?
I guess.
And he shrugs again and turns back to the crystal and says, At any rate, we have extracted the presence from Athena's mind.
Thank you.
He pauses with a bit of irritation when you say that, and he says,
You're welcome.
and then
I
continues.
think she rolls her eyes a little bit.
Now we have this, and we should begin our interrogation sooner rather than later. Athena, I would like you to take part, or maybe even take the lead, as this creature was inside your head. Maybe you will have insights or more opportunity to convince them to see our line of thought.
I don't think that should be hard, because I already kind of convinced her while We were walking out before you snatched her. And she shrugs.
Very well.
He stands to one side with his hand on the brazier, not the crystal, and gestures to the crystal and motions for you to come over.
I guess she does.
Yeah, you push yourself up off of the metal slab that you've been leaning on, and your body just still feels
Heavy.
very heavy. You're not sure about the prospect of standing.
I think Athena struggles over to a rolly chair and wheels herself over, like backwards, just pushing herself, looking at Silas like, I'm not standing for this.
And he arches an eyebrow at you and rolls his eyes a little bit and says,
Are you prepared?
Yeah, I think I am.
good. And then he reaches out and places a forefinger on your head and taps you.
I think she flinches just a little bit.
Maybe Zadal sees slight discomfort there, so he walks over and grabs Silas's hand and puts it on his own head too, like makes Silas touch his own head, and they share a moment of silent stares back and forth. Silas sort of wrenches his hand out of Zadal's grip while still looking at him, and then puts his other hand back out and touches the crystal. And then the room swims one more time, and everything goes black. We just wanted to take a moment to say thank you for listening.
This was a really exciting episode, and I'm really happy it's out there, and I bet you are too, because you've been sitting on that shit for a while.
Many things that I've been sitting on for a long time, and many more that I continue to have to. But it's nice to have a couple of these things come out. So,
well, that's good. So, my brain did a real whoopsie that I wanted to share with you guys. It was at the point in the episode where Athena was trying to conjure that herd of Domba from the tunnel, and it's like someone cast haste on my brain, but definitely not my mouth. So enjoy this little clip.
It's amazing.
Like I imagine, what if it came out of the open tunnel? What? So we've got some announcements this week. Apparently our Patreon was not searchable through the website literally the entire time, and we just found out. So
to those brave few who struggled their way through and found our direct link, thank you.
So sorry about that. Our Patreon is patreon.com/RPG for you and me. We are also on Twitter at RPG for you and me. I'm on Twitter at YouSeeTheHat, and I post a lot of art for the show. We got some new music this week from Waveshaper, who...
Amazing. I mean, just such a fantastic artist. Waveshaper, we found them through a game called Fury, which is available on consoles, maybe PC, but the soundtrack is amazing. They did a couple of songs in that, and we reached out to them, and they were cool with us using their music, so here we are.
So please, if you have a couple extra bucks, go find them on Bandcamp. They've got their whole discography for like $30, and it's just a wealth of great music. It's a
ton of albums. Waveshaper 1, like the number 1 or the numerical 1.
.bandcamp.com. I'll put links in the bio so it's easy to find. As always, our main theme is by Crockett, who you can find at Crockett80s on Twitter and crockett.bandcamp.com. That's Crockett with 2 T's.
Of course, Savage Worlds is owned by the Pinnacle Entertainment Group, and you can find them and their products at peginc.com. And speaking of the Pinnacle Entertainment Group and Savage Worlds, their yearly convention, Genghis Con, coming up this February. They host it in Colorado. You can get information online. It is Thursday, February 13th through Sunday, February 16th this year, 2020. So Allie and I will be out there visiting with plenty of you folks in the community, the boys over at Sounds Like Crows.
All them crow boys.
All them crow boys. If you haven't listened to Sounds Like Crows, you should definitely go listen to it.
Oh, also, we're bringing some just little baggies of merch from the show. So if you see us and you recognize our voices because you don't know what we look like, how's that going to work?
We'll be there. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be so much fun.
And as far as the rest of this season is concerned, that's mostly dependent on Allie and what she chooses to do, but things are certainly ramping up at this point. I think maybe 2 or 3 more episodes is probably what we're looking at.
I mean, 2 of those episodes are just to go on dates with Zadal, right?
Obviously.
I mean, you've accounted for that.
Yes. Speaking of dates with Zadal, please go check out Wave Shaper. Again, they have so many amazingly titled songs, such as...
We only got permission from Wave Shaper literally this weekend, and I'm just like scrolling through the song title list. And I felt very called out several times. Like, oh shit, where is it?
Sexy Robot.
Oh God, it was Seductive Robot.
Seductive Robot. Good.
Hardware Passion.
I like the sound of that one.
Oh, and Electrical Feelings.
And thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.